Okay, look at this here. It's a bin of Hot Wheels cars. This is the sort of thing you see near Christmas, although I'm shooting this post-Christmas. And the first thing you can see is there's heaps of stuff here which has just been completely ratted through, a lot of damaged boxing. And there'd be, I dare say, so many collectors and whatnot gone through this. And as you dig up from underneath, you just find just so much, basically, car wreckage. Nearly all the stock in here, in the fact that all the boxing is damaged, all stuff broken open. It doesn't even belong here. I mean, it's just one of the most ratted through Hot Wheels. I'm just having a big deep dive here, right to the bottom. See if I can bring out something fresh. Yeah, brought up something fresh. Nothing there. Yeah, nothing there. Yeah. So the most ratted through Hot Wheels bin ever. Quite honestly, this whole tub here, I classify it as a write-off. That stuff basically unsellable. What would you do if you had stock like this in your store? I come back to this same store a week later and I'll show you what happens with this stock. That's seen later in the video. I better put this warning up before I have another rant about something else. Warning, this video is made for a general audience. It may contain adult themes, consumer affairs advice, historical information, retail analysis, and weird funny bits. I need to say all this here because the YouTube systems are totally dumbass. I have been searching for that Thomas the Tank monster truck without saying Monster Jam because they are separate things these days, and while I was in the store, I actually noticed a couple of very curious things. And the first curious thing is this Hot Wheels 10 pack here. And I looked at this very carefully. It's only got 5 cars, and then I looked at the way it was sealed up, and it's been resealed on this end by the looks of it. I can see sticky tape flaring across there. The other side hasn't been touched, but nowhere on this packaging is a reduced price or anything. It's just been put back up here as a 10 pack of only 5 cars. It doesn't make any sense to me, but then again, this retailer is like that. Okay, then I look down here and it reminds me of my favorite Kmart, in the sense this isn't Kmart, that's all I'll say. I see this here. Okay, obviously whatever was in there was very desirable. I think whatever was in there is displayed in that box there. Okay, whatever that is, Mario Kart con thing. Don't know my Mario Kart, but it's not just that one there, it's also this one here. So whoever was in here, it's that little funny ghost looking critter, I think, like that thing there. Looking more carefully at this, it's been a major fight to get that little car out of there. The box has really been disrupted in a big way. Yes, but in the end, well, whoever was doing that work won. Sad to see, but it's something that I noticed because I look at this stuff all the time, but that 5 pack, which is a 10 pack, was weird. And maybe you're thinking, are the other 10 packs being turned into 5s? I don't think so. I'm just going to quickly go through them here. I think the rest of them are okay. Okay, I'm going to have a spillage here in a second. No, okay. There you go. So, for some reason that 10 pack was affected, and from what I understand, the 10 packs really have nothing special in them. I hope I'm correct in saying that. That's what I've been taught by the wondrous people who know the Hot Wheels. This is the same store on the next day. The monster truck stock came in and I'm desperate to find the Thomas the Tank variant of this toy. I was feeling extremely hopeful. I was the first person to take a look at the stock, which had just been put on the shelves. This is a few months after Christmas, so basically there's nobody in there buying toys. And also this shop is usually as dead as a doornail. As I was pulling apart the stock here, I was seeing some really cool stuff. The Thomas the Tank version of this monster truck is easy to spot because it's got white wheels, so it's a blue body with white wheels. And while I'm searching for this monster truck, I'm getting flashbacks and flare-ups of how I was feeling searching for that Hot Wheels Locomotoring, which was a Thomas the Tank variation that was back in 2020. I kept digging into the stock and I just kept thinking it's going to be behind the next one. It'll be in the next line. Sadly, that never happened. Overall, it is a little bit tricky to find these Mattel monster truck toys, and of course Monster Jam are with somebody else now. But what I'm finding is the Mattel supply chain into Australia is shocking. I know that through the Thomas Toys, and I'm also seeing that via the Hot Wheels toys as well. And I also understand that because of those fantastic Hot Wheels collectors that I got to know when I was looking at the shoplifting problems in another retailer, not this one. This monster truck toy is a $5 toy in Australia. It's very inexpensive. It's a fantastic looking toy. Of course, the Thomas the Tanks on eBay and the ones online are going for 10, 20, 30 times the peg price. And even on the online sale sites, it's a fairly tricky toy to find up for sale. And some very simple investment advice. If you see that monster truck Thomas in store, grab it. If you see multiples of them, grab a couple. It's going to make a fantastic investment for the future. I'm told this Hot Wheels here is a special one. It's the Braille car. It's not painted, it's got Braille on the packaging. It's a sort of Hot Wheels I think that you would keep absolutely in card. In fact, there's two here. I will be grabbing these two. They seem to be a very popular Hot Wheels, a little bit hard to find, but it's this store here where I had found the bin of Hot Wheels that maybe we've already seen, maybe we haven't. And I thought to myself that stock would be written off. Well, guess what? That stock has been put up on the pegs here, and I think, personally, I think that's disgusting. I'm not going to name the retailer, but I'm going to show you what they've done. All this stock is damaged card. To a collector, it's worth zero. And they put a plastic hook there, in a sense, so it can be hooked up on the pegs. And it gets back to that Batmobile, which is sort of like the most unpopular little Hot Wheels, although there is a Super Treasure Hunt version of this. That's worth millions of dollars, but look at the condition of the cards here. And there's lots of this because there were so many Hot Wheels that were damaged in that great big messy pile of Hot Wheels. I honestly thought the stock would be written off considering the damage done to the packaging. That's what I would have done as a retailer, but hey, you know, I seem to be set in a different way to whatever's going on here. But what it revealed to me is what doesn't sell. I already knew this was a Hot Wheels, which is an absolute peg sitter. There's different coloured variants of this getting about. And look at this one here. Again, this is all damaged stock, lots of them, and it's this little Hot Wheels here. Something about that one which isn't very popular. Collecting Hot Wheels, it's a very deep bunny hole. It's an exciting bunny hole for lots of people. I can't get my head around it. I think I could waste a lot of brain cells trying to understand Hot Wheels. If I step back a bit, you'll just see the stock that's here. So all that's damaged stock there. So those pegs there, and it just goes on and on. The more I look around, the more I see, it should be all in the bin. Maybe you think I'm a very hard marker, but I'll tell you what, I'd be embarrassed to be selling stock that's so ratted around. Disgusting. Look at this one here. This is probably the worst car damage here. I mean, how can you sell that? That's fripping out there. That should be just thrown straight in the bin or put up as 20 cents or something. That's just fripping crazy. I'm pretty sure at most stores this would be classified as soiled, damaged goods. That's all that's going on here. No way would you want to pay top dollar. I know you'll ask, well, isn't it marked on the back, a lower price, damaged goods? Nope. No reduction of price at all. Looking at the stock like this. Do you remember that video that you've just seen that snippet of? In fact, I'll show you more of this video. It's a very interesting video for a number of reasons on my channel because of the time it was uploaded to YouTube and what happened after that time. Not that you know it by looking at the end result, it was actually a complicated video to make. It needed a lot of happy accidents to occur to piece it together to make it look good. The video was looking at a Disney Cars Radiator Springs playset. It was a fantastic playset made for younger people, but I showed in the video that it had fantastic cross-compatibility with all sorts of toys. It would have taken maybe 4 to 5 days to make that video. It was uploaded onto YouTube in March 2014. Just remember 2014, very curious year for what happened on my channel from that point on right up till now. I'll throw up the analytics related to this video. You may find it interesting to peek at this. It had its initial subscriber run, which I sort of giggle at because these days that doesn't happen anymore. And then it lowers down to less views, And what used to happen on my channel was you would go from big raging view numbers to lower view numbers and upsies and downsies all the time. It was quite radical what used to happen, as in past tense. This video started to show me the new way videos are treated on this site, and they basically get quietly hidden away over a period of time. And this is a classic example of that going on. When I saw the way that this video was being pulled down, hidden away, put to bed, it was also happening to other videos that used to be very popular on my channel. In fact, what I found was from 2014 onwards, basically anything I put up onto YouTube would have a lesser effect as time went on. And you don't understand this fully until time has evolved and you can go back and look at the data properly. Now when I look back at the data of all my videos, it's just like the analytics that you saw related to the video you see playing in the background. YouTube lets it run for a bit, maybe a couple of weeks, but by the time 30 to 50 days have rolled by, the handbrake has been completely put onto the video, but that handbrake has also been put on across my whole channel. In fact, as each year goes by, that handbrake has been ratcheted up another notch. So just think back to 2014, it wasn't yesterday, it was some time ago. My channel has had a handbrake ratcheted up tightly on it for some period of time now. Of course, what else was going on in between 2014 to now was you had ElsaGate, which was 2016, 2017. That was where you had some fairly rogue producers making what was kids content, but it had very adult themes going on. Then you had a thing called the Adpocalypse, and that initially evolved around 2016 and 17, and that continues on to basically now. But earlier in the piece, you had producers like Philip DeFranco, PewDiePie, and Logan Paul, who were causing the friction between advertisers and Google because their content was, I'll just say, not advertiser friendly. And I think some advertisers got a bit of a shock to see what their premium top dollar ads were being applied to. And the guidelines of what was advertiser friendly was never really that clear. And of course, you had a lot of producers on the site who were affected, people showing firearms, people talking about news events, producers who are talking about aircraft accidents. That's all too much for advertisers. Those who are going to a lot of effort and making some fantastic real crime videos seem to be getting slam dunked as well. Producers showing certain styles of subculture, and even people just showing toys on YouTube were being slam dunked by the advertiser policies that seem to be incredibly restrictive. Yet if I take a look at some of these problematic videos up on other video sites, I certainly see ads set against the content. So why does YouTube and Google have so much problem putting an advertiser with a certain style of content? Now remember, I was focusing on 2014 as being a pivotal year in a bad way for my channel. 2014 was also a time when YouTube had a new CEO installed, and that CEO has just left in 2023. And I sort of wonder whether a new CEO is going to release the handbrake off my channel, or will it just be ratcheted up a few more notches? I used to always fill out the YouTube surveys that were sent out by YouTube to get a feeling of how producers felt about the site. I was always blunt, hopefully always honest, and I didn't hold back when I was filling out those surveys. But as the years rolled on, what I was feeling was the things that I was saying in the surveys were totally being ignored. And as the more you get ignored, the more angry you start to become. And sadly, of course, there has been that time when one YouTuber completely overstepped the line. I'm not going to say the year or say exactly what happened. I'll just say it was between 2014 to 2023. But in the most ridiculous way, and this starts to sound ridiculous, I always think next year is going to be better on this site. I've been thinking that since 2014. As I'm making this right now, it's the first months of 2023. I'm still waiting for that turnaround to happen. Of course, these days I'm really careful how much money I spend before I make a video on YouTube, because the chances are I will not be able to make back the basic cost of whatever I've shown in the video, or however long it's taken to make a video. And under that simple equation there, it actually makes absolutely no sense to waste my time making videos for YouTube. In fact, it's been like that for about 5 years now. A good solid 5 years has been what I call negative growth in relation to how much money you spend versus how much money you make on this site. And now I think back to what H3H3 Productions channel said, and it was quite some years ago, and they rang the bell saying, watch out, A lot of that advertiser money is going to the corporate with my fingers in the air channels. And you know what? I think they were absolutely correct. The other producers, who I call them just the no-name producers like me, we just get this little sprinkling of crumbs. And that's all I could describe it as, crumbs. I'm really sorry to have said all this. It's sad I've got to say this to my audience, but a lot of people ask me, Leo, why don't you make the videos like you see playing in the background here as I've been complaining? Quite simply, it's too risky to make that sort of content now. The lovely toy companies don't give me a cent, and the way YouTube pays out these days with that lovely handbrake set against my channel, I'm not going to make back the basic costs of the things that you see in front of camera that make up the video. It's as simple as that. Now I'm going to switch to talking about the video that's on YouTube prior to this one on my channel. It's a video where I talk about a playset that I saw in store, and then I went home and I found out, wow, I've got the previous version of exactly the same playset. In the video, I start to explain how confused I was in seeing some numbers on boxes and how things didn't make sense, although the more I looked at these playsets, they seemed to be identical. Sure, there was the difference in some coloured parts and also the styles of the trains, and sure, there was a massive difference in the price between the two playsets. In the first 3 days of that video being uploaded, there's a lot of comments and people making noise and people saying to me, oh, I've got that playset and I've got that one and they're exactly the same playset and one's a colour swap of the other one. Yes, I think we can see all that, but no one's actually answering the query that I have in the video. I certainly know there are some in the Thomas & Friends fandom who are extremely focused on detail and really know their numbers down to the final rivet. I really thought these people would have come back with an answer of that query between the two playsets that totally rattled my mind. Or maybe it's such an astonishing Thomas & Friends mystery that nobody knows how to answer the query. And I'm not talking about a little difference between the two playsets, I'm talking about a massive difference. Anyway, that little rant I just had then is focused towards people who would never get to this part of the video, so even that was a total waste of time. And saying total waste of time really sums up the way I feel about YouTube these days. It's just such a fantastic site.